Okay, everyone, I'm going to start the session now. So if everybody is with us, and inshallah, as you can communicate with us by chatting, and I hope inshallah to read all of your questions and information. Our talk of today is about the astrology. And as you know, it's one of the great topics, hot topics, you can say it. People will really, do everything to believe in the stars and believe in that astrology is right. And I'm, from my personal experience of astronomy, one of the reasons why I entered into the astronomy is to seek out the real answer for the astrology. Is astrology true or it's not? And frankly, to tell everybody, I discovered that very practically, that astrology cannot be true. And it is absolutely ridiculous to, to believe in astrology. So before I go into the details of my experience or anything else, I would like to make a clear cut, not my statement, but exactly the definition of astrology. What is astrology? Now I'm going to read from Wikipedia for you. Everybody just bear with me and look what Wikipedia says about the astrology. It says, astrology is pseudoscience, and I'm going to talk about that, what pseudoscience means, that claims to divine information about human affairs and terrestrial events by studying the movement of relative position of celestial objects. Celestial objects means the planets. Astrology has been dated to at least 2nd millennia BC. Oh, okay, and has its roots in calendrical systems used to predict seasons, shift, and interpret that celestial cycle as signs of divine communication. Now, furthermore, there is plenty more of things are going onto that. I will not read it. I'm inviting everybody to look at the Wikipedia page and see what it says about this element. Now, let me go directly into the heart of astrology. So basically, astrology is about that it tries to connect human behavior, human life, or the events on Earth to the events in the sky. So for example, astrologer would be looking to a zodiac sign. What is a zodiac sign? Zodiac signs, these are the what we call them constellations, which they lie. Just a moment, everybody. I'll just take one small break, a little bit. Just 1 second. راشد السلام راشد في داخل اجتماع على الويبنير. Okay, thank you. Sorry, everybody. I was just interrupted with an important call, and I apologized for all that. So the constellation is the imaginative figures which humans have drawn by collecting or connecting stars and making some shape out of it. Why they did do that? They actually did it because they wanted to see in the sky something which makes sense for them. Rather than just looking at scattered dots, they connected them and made some shapes. Those shapes related to the life of those civilizations. So each civilization put their figures into the stars. Now, exactly like connecting the dots game for the children, it's a similar kind of thing ancient people have done, and they created some sort of meaningful shapes. These shapes, they called it big bear, small bear, big dog, small dog, hunter, scorpion, and you name it. Now, these shapes, 12 of them, they made it in such a way that they divided first in the hemisphere, the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. And on the ecliptic, the path of the sun in the sky, they designated that this path would be divided to 12 portions. And just for you to remember that the path of the sun is the same path of the planets around the sun itself. So basically, these planets and the sun and the moon, they all move in these positions of what we call 12 zodiacal constellation. They call it zodiac because they lie on the celestial equator, and divided 12 because they wanted to have 12 months for solar cycle. And in each of them, the signs goes all the way. I mean, lots of people are aware of it: Libra, Virgo, you name it, Scorpio, and etc. Now, with these constellations, they give it properties. They give it properties means they give it some sort of criteria. Now, with this criteria which they have given to this or constellations, when a planet will come into that constellation, the effect will happen on earthly people, or earthly events will happen. And according to that, for example, if somebody has been given birth on a specific time and date which is matches with the zodiac which has been done there, and the planet moves into it, they become active, not active, they become whatever the astrologer will add to the idea. The I would use a very simple word, whatever in the mind of astrologer, he will add that things to that. And by the way, every astrologer have their own criterias, informations, and the way to collect, let's say, advocate for themselves, showcase their power, showcase their knowledge. Now, they use astronomical data. Why? Because they don't know how the planet's really going to move. So they use astronomical softwares and information to see the movement of the planet and which constellation is going to go there and how much is going to stay there, and etc., etc., etc. Lots of information. These information are true because they're using astronomical data. Now, with that into the mind, astrology builds up the whole foundation for that astronomy-oriented effect over the life of people or events in the our Earth. Now, the question is very important question: how a planet which are thousands and millions and billions of kilometers away from us, they are affecting our life. And not only that, let's imagine the ancient people, they remember that they can observe only 6 planets. So they were connected with 6. What about the new planets we discovered? Neptune, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Can't we take them in consideration? Some of the modern ones, they are taking it. But the ancient people didn't know about it, so they didn't take it in consideration. Aha. So, yeah, only they knew whatever they saw. Okay, now we have mentioned 2 points here. First thing, the planets are too far away. And second is that they didn't know about other planets which we discovered now. Now, third, I'm asking a question to astrologer. What kind of energy or force is being exercised by the planet over the humans or the creatures or the events of the Earth? They would say some sort of cosmic ray, cosmic effects, cosmic activity. And I'm asking what type of that? Because physics, ABC, we know that there is what we call the electromagnetic spectrum, line of huge energy, all the way from gamma ray, moving to the ultraviolet, going to the spectrum of the light, which we know, the 7 colors, and then moving to the infrared, far infrared, then moving all the way to microwave, then going to the shortwave, and all the way to the radio waves. Now, all of this radiomagnetic spectrum is actually the energy in the universe. There isn't any other kind of energy beside these things. Now, the energy which comes from the stars, from explosions of the stars, they are received by different objects, like, for example, planets, oceans. I'll give you an example. Look at the sun. It radiates energy, which is basically the heat. The heat comes to the earth, heats up the atmosphere, heats up the ocean, and we see the cycle of the water and other, etc. So it creates a kind of cycles of energy transformation, which affects the life of the people for sure, for sure. Or another type of force, we'll call it the gravity force, which comes by the moon. So imagine the moon now exercising over the ocean, the gravitational pull, as the sun do that also, and we get the tides. Now, some people will say, yeah, there is a gravity between the planets, it's affecting our life. No, sorry. The gravity which is being exercised by Jupiter over Hasan Hariri, for example, it can be measured, by the way, and it's so minute, so small, so tiny, that even it cannot move my hair. Yes, it cannot move my hair, or even shake a pen, or even less than that, it cannot move anything. That amount of gravitational force is so minute that I need huge sensors just to measure that. Just imagine with me, look, I'm going to show you something. Just imagine this pen, and I'm going to drop it. You see, the amount of energy required to drop the pen for it, 1,000,000 times less than that energy is exercised by Jupiter over us. And that definitely does not by any means affects our mood, our chemistry, our physics, or anything else. Now, putting that foundation, I will again go to the question, so what sort of energy could stars and planets exercise over human? And the answer, they will say, cosmic energy. And I'm asking, what's the definition of cosmic energy? Frankly to you, there isn't anything called cosmic energy. There's cosmic radiation. Cosmic radiation, cosmic background radiation, it's amount of an energy coming from the internal wall of the Big Bang toward everywhere in the universe in very small amount in radio wave. To receive that energy, to receive that signal, we need huge dishes, and then we can see those kind of things. Sorry. So now, defining that energy which they are talking about, there isn't anything. I did not come till today with anybody who can prove to me that there is a cosmic energy which affects the life of the people or behavior of animals or the life on the earth, or even doing any action of physical in our atmosphere or our geology, or doing anything. Seeing all of this information, this is my foundation to talk about it. Now I'm going to jump into the topic itself. The first point is here. Look, if I'm astrologer, I should be able to say the future. If I'm saying the future, I'm able to predict, because this is my job. My job is to predict. I'm going to predict for the people what's going to happen for them, or what kind of things could happen to them, or what kind of things they will be they will get, like for example, fortune, good day, good time, good news. Yeah, Mr. Hassan Hariri, you're going to get a very good news. I'm asking one question. Can you just define for me what exactly I'm going to get? And nobody can tell you that. So there is no clear-cut definition of what happy news I'm going to receive, or bad news, or any news, or anything. Astrologers cannot specify for you exactly what they will have. Now, you want to tell me that there is an example that guy has talked about that presidential death, or that earthquake, or no. Again, go to them and try to see specifics. It's one of the most difficult parts, which they will all disagree. One astrologer will say something, the other astrologer will say something. They are talking about the same thing, same zodiac sign, same planet movement, but the effects are different. So my question is, how come their scientific methodology creates different kind of outputs and results? we know, everybody knows today, if I add a salt to the water, what I'm going to get? Salty water. I'm not going to get sweet water. Would I get to sweet water? No way. 1 plus 1 equal 2. It will never be 3, 4, 5, 6, never. 1 plus 1 equal 2. Similar way, this is what we call experimented scientific methodology. So in science, we have to understand that everything in science moves according to a law. The law means that things is repeatable. So the moon rotates around the Earth exactly with the law of the gravity, the same of the planets. Earth rotates around its axis with the same way. Behavior with water, same thing. All of things which we see in the physics, in the physical universe, they act according with a scientific laws. Newton laws, Einstein laws, and all of those physical laws which you see, you implement and you get the same result. Why in astrology we don't get the same kind of law which unifies all astrologers to give us the same answer at the same time and same way? So, for example, if I'm going to get a happy time, every astrologer have to agree that I'm going to get a happy time, but they're not, and that's another issue. Wow. Okay, leaving this element, going to the another one, which is the topic of the conversation itself. Why in the world no astrologer were able to talk about coronavirus, COVID-19, going to plague the earth? Everybody going to have a catastrophe. The whole human civilization going to go on halt. Come, this is not a small event. Nobody can argue with me or anybody on the effect of COVID-19. Why in the world? And look how much month each country have taken to really go into this harsh experience. How many thousands of life have gone? How many people got sick? Millions of people got sick. My question, can't astrology tell us this information? Somewhere, even a single talk about astrology on saying that COVID-19 is coming, guys? Anybody tell me, yeah, you're going to get a COVID-19, or you're going to get, okay, I'll be more easy, not COVID-19. You guys are going to get coronavirus. Coronavirus is a kind of a type of virus, without saying COVID-19. Coronavirus, there is a family of coronavirus. Yeah, you're going to get a plague of the coronavirus. No one said that. Now, definitely, I'm sure that some people will argue with me and saying, hey guys, no, the astrology will not predict precisely. So my question is, so what's the use of the astrology? If I'm saying myself, I'm a scientist and I'm trying to give you something, I should give you something big? Yeah, everybody going to get happy. And who's not getting happy every day? Everybody getting some good news and some bad news. So the life are open. You cannot take me seriously when I'm just going to give you any general information. And that's my point. My last point before I open the sessions for questions and answers. I'm asking one question for everybody on who's listening to me and people of astrology. Today, we are in 21st century. We are so much independent on technology and information and internet and exchange of knowledge. And definitely, all of you agree with me that we have something called free will. So if I want to drink, I will drink. If I want to eat, I will eat. If I want to travel, I will travel. Nobody can take that from me and tell me, no, you cannot travel. Just like I'm a free man, free will man. I can do whatever I like. And this is everybody is free will. We don't have slavery. Now, would anybody, and I'm talking about anybody, is ready to give me his free will? Everybody will say, definitely not. Nobody is ready to give you the free will. Who's like to be my slave? No one, correct. So my question is, how logically just think about it, how we are logically giving our free will in the hand of the stars, hands of the planets to control us. Can that be logical? So the stars tells me what should I do or what should I not do? I mean, is it logical for us to believe into this? I mean, definitely not. And it is quite ridiculous that we are surrendering our life to those things. So if we take the implications of astrology, it's very devastational. I'll tell you something very simple. If the stars are controlling my life, I can go and kill somebody and tell, yeah, I killed him because the stars told me to kill him. And I'm not ready to take the responsibility of it. The stars have to take the responsibility for my mistake. What do you think? Can that compute? Can that compute with you guys? Can that make a logic to you? That we should do bad things and we're going to put it on the celestial bodies that they are responsible for what I've done. Similar to this, exactly. There is an issue about, let's say, there's an issue about moon. And with moon, just a moment, everybody. So there is what we call the moon, and people get the moon effect, what we call lunatic. And there's also people believe the moon have an effect on our life and this and that. And I'm asking one question. By the way, somebody claimed that there are a study which says that sometime when the moon is full, wolves will come and people will become extra active and all of that kind of thing. I'm saying one question, very simple and very easy for everybody. If that's true, then the moon should take all the blame for every crime going to be committed on full moon nights. What do you think, everybody? Moon will be responsible for the crimes of the world or any other things? And with this, I'm concluding my talk and thanking everybody for joining me. And now we can take questions. You can just write the questions on the chat, and I'll be more than happy to reply to all of you, inshallah. And wish you all the happy times and good times. Be safe at your home, and hope you healthy, wealthy life. Any questions?
Thank you very much, sir. And I would like to invite, as you mentioned, everybody for the questions, and you can send them across in the chat. And I believe we have someone who wishes to share something.
Yep.
Yes, from ID, they want to say something.
Sure.
And sure, we'd be more than happy to hear what they've got to say.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Hasan. Hi, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I actually have I mean, I'm not, I love astronomy, but I'm also not against astrology, because I did many, because I'm so curious, and I did many researches, and just to answer one of the question, like, what are we feeling about that energy that's coming from other planets as a human here in this earth? Actually, there is Nikola Tesla, that I believe everybody know him. He made an experiment, and it's very known, actually, this experiment. He actually created a little machine, like as small as his pocket, and this machine makes kind of vibration, and that tuned this vibration into the building that he was living in. And then he put it in the higher, higher and higher, until it made a cracking sound. Yep. And everything around it started to vibrate out of control, that he needed actually to just hammer it so that it stops. So here, like, if I want to go into the science, obviously you are, like, you know better than me that actually the spinning of the earth around the sun is actually 30 kilometers per second. The sun around the galaxy, it's 22 kilometers per second. The galaxy itself moves from 700 to 1,000 kilometers per second. So knowing that everything is moving around us, and in that speed, how can we ignore that actually we are not vibrating because of that also? I mean, I'm just keeping it out there.
Okay, let me address your question. There are several points you have mentioned. I would like to clarify everything in kind of a simple way. So let's be first thing acknowledge basic information about Nikola Tesla and what Nikola Tesla have experimented with was an energy of what we call tapping to vibration of everything. Everything around us, it have a kind of vibration into it. To make it very scientifically clear, molecules, specifically the molecules, they vibrate. That vibration which happens, if you tap into it, means you create another vibration which really goes and match with that vibration. Either you can cancel it or you can increase it. What Nikola Tesla did with magnetism and magnetic waves, he was able to, that's been basically the electricity, he was able to tap into that vibration of the building material, and he was able to make the earthquake, for example. Now, this is one thing. Just one second. Yeah. So the thing is that this is what he have done. Now, he was claiming, Nikola Tesla was claiming that there is an energy, free energy available outside, which you can tap into it to create energy, to harvest those energies for the powering up of different kind of things. But that could not be achieved because that was not true. Nikola Tesla wasted his all fortune to try to find that, and he couldn't do it. His machines are still available till today. It's in hand of the Department of Defense and intelligence, whatever, and so in the States. And they tried to do that, his experiment, several places, several times. Millions of people around the world, they tried to do that, but it could not happen the way Nikola Tesla have talked about it. So now this is for the Nikola Tesla. Now the second part of it, that the things which is around us, like for example, movement of the planets and things like that, don't they make a vibration? No, they do make the vibration, but that vibration is quite small. Tapping into it would not, I mean, it would not reach to the level that you can control it or it can control us. And it doesn't create a kind of kinetic energy. I mean, let's remember, vibration is kinetic energy. Kinetic energy can be reflected in sense of, or means of tectonic plates movement or something like that. They are so minute that they don't even do the effect. Today we are studying, we are able to study. By the way, just for your information and everybody, we have the seismic sensors. They are so sensitive that they can really even sense the wind moving over the earth. We can hear them. I'll give you an example, which you're going to be, I mean, everybody going to be stunned with it. See that there is a seismometer we sent to the Mars with the Mars Insight project. That seismometer is so sensitive, it can even tell us the speed of the wind which is blowing over. And let's remember, the wind on the Mars is 100 times much less. The atmosphere of the Mars is 100 times less than the atmosphere of the Earth. Still with that, it's going all the way. It can sense that wind which is there. By the way, everybody, I think the time is cutting with us. Sheeraz, you are with us? Sheeraz? Anyhow,
yes, sir, I'm right here.
How much time we are left with, Sheeraz?
We are left with around 5 minutes.
Okay. Can we restart this session in after it's going to close? Because it seems lots of questions are coming on. Okay. Done.
As soon as this finishes, if it stops, just go ahead to the same link and it will restart.
Okay, everybody. So you got it, everybody. Just if the broadcast stops, reconnect to that, and we're going to restart the things up. So thank you. I mean,
we have
definitely. Sure, I'll go to it just for the DK. Definitely, I'm more than happy to meet with you, inshallah. And definitely we'll be able to discuss further more, DK. Thank you again for joining with us. So let's go to the other questions. And
So
let me
we
see.
have two questions over here. One is from Abdullah and the other one is from Muhammad Yusuf.
Okay.
So firstly from Abu Abdullah, it says, so is the science of horoscopes considered a myth or does it affect individuals?
It's totally myth. Totally myth. Okay, for Yusuf.
And for Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, it says, thank you, Mr. Hasan. If the moon effect on the sea and the water, why it's not affecting humans since our body contains high percentage of water?
Because the water, let's remember our body is, our water in the body is contained inside a shell, which is our body itself. It is not flowing outside, okay? So our body maintained a pressure which is equivalent to the air pressure which is on top of us, which is hundreds times more effective than, 100 times, thousands of times more effective than the effect of the moon over the sea. Why we see the effects of the moon and the sun? Let's remember, moon and sun both, they're affecting with tides, high tide, low tides, normal tides, because it's a cumulative effect. A cumulative effect. We, comparing to the moon, are nothing. I mean, everybody, do we know our size comparing to the Earth size or the moon size? Just to give you an idea. We as human, 1.7 meter high, imagine as an average, we are not even something around 1,000 meters, which is Burj Khalifa, for example. Okay, let's say something else. What about the Earth itself, diameter of the Earth? Diameter of the Earth is actually 12,800 kilometers. Wow. So how big we are comparing to the Earth? Not even like an atom, not even like a virus, not like bacteria even. We are smaller than the bacteria and smaller than the virus on the palm of our hand comparing to the Earth. Moon is almost like 3,000 something kilometers. So again, and by the way, moon is so far away, 380,000 or something kilometers away. So can you imagine that? So that's why it will not be so effective on our body. Any more questions, Sheeraz?
As of now, no, sir. These
Okay.
are all the questions that we have.
So
And
I
nobody's
think,
asked any more questions.
so I think
So are we are going to continue this session again or it is over now?
would
Can
you like?
This is Deepak Kumar.
I'm
Sure.
so sorry.
Sure. Please go
Can
ahead.
I please add just like because you know I did a lot of researches and I just need to clarify this even in my head and maybe it can benefit other. We all know that
So,
actually.
just
Yes.
just 1 second, DK. I will what I will do. I will reestablish the session for the question, which is that I'm going to come back. Yes, I'm going to come back. I'll make it another 40 minutes. So please go ahead and ask the question. If the session stops, we're going to reinitiate it again. So thank you, everybody. And anybody want to continue with us, you are more than welcome to continue with us. Thank you.
Okay, so we are ending
Thanks.
this meeting and we will be restarting the same meeting ID. So
Sure.
the link that you have that you used to join this meeting, use that.
Sure.
Yeah, sure,
Sir,
we'll
we
join.
would also like to give you a 2-minute break before we start.
Sure. Definitely.
All
Definitely.
right.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank-
Thanks.
So we'll be restarting this in around 2 minutes.
Shukran. Shukran.